What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 Mobile Racing Career Mode. We are here for episode number 28 today for the Japanese Grand Prix in Season 4. If you guys did miss the previous episode at the Canadian Grand Prix, then definitely be sure to go check that out before. See, this was a very entertaining episode. And coming into the Japanese Grand Prix, I'm going to have to do qualifying again, like you're hungry, because literally this time, I literally have no clue how to drive around Suzuka. I'm terrible around Suzuka. You can see, there's no best lap around here. Like, I've never done Suzuka. And Suzuka, for me, is definitely not one of my strong tracks. As they come into qualifying them, Bottas ahead of Verstappen, Hamilton, Stroll, Norris, Perez, Ricciardo, Alonso, Gasly, and Tsunoda completing the top 10. So hopefully we can have a good race here as we come out of the last corner and getting ready to start our hot lap. Here we go then. 3, 2, 1, go. DRS wide open as we blast down the main straight and toward turn 1. Flat out through here. Now getting ready to start braking here. We get on the grass or on the AstroTurf, and we almost lose it. We had a massive snap on the rear end. Luckily, we managed to keep it on the track, and you can see this is why, like, I'm struggling with Suzuka. I'm very bad around these S curves here, like, especially not in just this game, but also in the actual game itself. As we have a massive moment there, even in the F1 2020 game, I still suck at Suzuka. Like, I'm absolutely terrible. As I come flat out through the first section, and I think it's Dunlop 2. I think this is. I think it's Dunlop 1, Dunlop 2, then coming towards the hairpin. Already a very, very messy lap, I must say. As we go down in second gear and clip that apex and get on the power nice and early and getting ready to blast down this very long, I guess, right-hander, you could say, as it's just constantly going right. Now coming towards the left-hander spoon curve. First part of the spoon curve, we go very wide, and we completely miss the apex there. And then coming towards the second part of the spoon curve, nice and easy. And now we're just on the back steering to play the waiting game pretty much. As it comes towards 130R, should be fairly easy. I think it's flat. You can see 2 green sectors. Again, this is why I wanted to do qualifying. Like, I'm not setting purple sectors. I'm setting green sectors here. I'm doing very bad around here. As it comes down, it gives down at 3, clip that apex, and come through here. But we go very wide, and I end up like just mucking that up there. As we had the chance to gain some time there, but of course we threw it away. Getting ready to open DRS now, and now blasting towards the finish line. What's this going to put us? It's going to put us P7, well off the pace. We're behind Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton, Stroll, Perez, Norris, but ahead of our teammate Alonso, Ricciardo, and Gasly. So now let's get on with the Japanese Grand Prix. So here's the starting grid then. It is Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton, Stroll, Perez, Norris, us, Alonso, Ricciardo, Gasly, Sainz, Tsunoda, Vettel, Giovinazzi, Leclerc, Mazepin, Schumacher, Raikkonen, Russell, and Latifi complete the grid. As here we go to 5, red light for the Japanese Grand Prix, the first ever Japanese Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go. And it's a great start from us against Lando Norris. As then move over to the right side, try and squeeze our way through, and hopefully get the inside line for the first 2 corners. You can see Stroll just ahead of us, ahead of Sergio Perez as we come through turns 1 and turn 2. Norris made a bit of contact with us on his side, and we try to make a move on Stroll, but he ends up pushing us onto the grass there as we were hasty to try and get past him, end up losing a lot of momentum, and those two are continuing to squabble. We're just going to slow them down a lot and help us a lot as we try to gain back the momentum we lost there. Let's go on the grass there, but we do manage to hold the car still, and now we get a move on Stroll, almost banging tires. You can see us swerving there a little bit to make sure that we're going to make too much contact with him as we come into Dunlop 1 and Dunlop 2, already catching up to the back of Sergio Perez. The Red Bull looking a little weak here as they get ready to set up a move into the hairpin. Nice and easy. Down to second gear. Clip that apex perfectly and get the elbows out. And now set our sights on Lewis Hamilton, who's up there in 3rd place. Behind, I think, Verstappen and Bottas as they round out the top 3. Coming towards spoon curve for the first time in this Japanese Grand Prix. Down to 5th gear, or actually 4th gear. Clip that apex. Now coming for the second turn, clip that apex. Oh, we go so wide, and we get on the AstroTurf again, and we get a terrible exit there. Now we got to defend from Sergio Perez, who's going to look to try and get past us and up into P4. That AstroTurf is so deadly around the Suzuka circuit. It's like wanting to pounce on you every single mistake you make. Anyways, now coming through the long left-hander of 130R and into the chicane. Down to second gear, clip that apex, and make sure not to get the AstroTurf on the exit, and this time we do so successfully. And now coming out of the corner and onto the main straight to start lap 2 of the Japanese Grand Prix. Behind Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton still, but ahead of Sergio Perez. coming towards turn 1. Flat out, no need to brake. Now start to brake for turn 2 as we go a bit wide there, but we do manage to keep the car on the track. And now coming through the S section left. And now right. Definitely a bumpy ride there. Not as bad though as I would say some of the porpoising issues that are happening in real life. Braking a little bit just to ensure that we make the corner nice and easy. And now coming out of this long left-hander and towards Dunlop 1. Coming through here nice and easy. And now we're going to try to force it up the inside of Hamilton. That's not going to work. And we get a corner cut penalty in the process. But we are still behind Lewis Hamilton. It's still a decent ways behind. But we're going to set it up the inside of the hairpin. Down to second gear. And now we get the position that we deserve. And up into the podium places as we now chase our sights on Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. We're still squabbling about further lead. So hopefully they can squabble a bit more and back themselves up into me as we come into spoon curve, down to fifth gear, clip that apex, and now coming to this corner, don't hit the astroturf on the outside, and we get that pretty well, and now on the back straight, heading towards 130R, still behind Max Verstappen there, and Hamilton I think is going to start closing the gap on us, as obviously the Mercedes has a much better power unit compared to us, now coming through the 130R, flat out again, and then coming towards the chicane for the second time in this Grand Prix. Down to second gear, clip those two apexes, again, don't touch the astroturf, and now we got a good run on Max Verstappen. We're closing the gap to him, and we're closing the gap to Valtteri Bottas. You can see him just up ahead, and I think he's starting to get a little larger. Now he's getting a little smaller as the Red Bull starts to edge away ever so slowly, and now coming towards the long right-hander of turn 1 and turn 2, down to 50. We thought about going on the outside there, but that wasn't going to work at all. Now coming through the S section once again for the final time, and we go a bit wide there, have a little moment there as we had a bit of understeer in that section, and now coming through this S section one more time, getting on the brakes just to make sure we make this corner, and now looking on the back of Max Verstappen, who is now pulled away a little bit, but luckily we can rein him in this next part of the section. We are very strong in this section, I must say. We're very strong through Dunlop 1, Dunlop 2, and the hairpin. The A are definitely strong in Sector 1 and Sector 3. We're so much better. We're going to set not only up the inside of Max Verstappen, but also Valtteri Bottas. We make a bit of contact with him as we forced our way through, and it was definitely a late move. I was definitely going for the move on Max Verstappen up into P2, but then I saw the chance to get past Valtteri Bottas, so we were able to do so successfully, and now coming into spoon curve, and we lead the Japanese Grand Prix. I was not expecting us to do another last to first challenge in a track where I am terrible at. In a track where I'm so bad, but Bottas may look to spoil the party. I was just looking behind, we're looking behind to see if he's going to make a move. No, he's not, apparently. I think he might get backed up into Max Verstappen as they come into the long left-hander, and now coming towards the chicane for one last time, down to third gear, down to second, clip those two apexes perfectly. We're going to hold on to the victory, and we're going to take the victory here in Suzuka, and we're going to complete another last to first challenge, and we're going to win the Japanese Grand Prix ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen, and also Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll, Lando Norris, our teammate Alonso, Ricardo, and Gasly complete the top 10. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, definitely sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.